Welcome to this amazing training that we have launched with the title of AI and ML for network engineers. And as Nitish have mentioned, my name is Abhijit. You can call me AB for the ease, and I'm gonna be the instructor for this entire training that you're gonna have. I have designed the course called AI for Network Engineers, where we are going to focus on the very basics and fundamentals of what programmability is, right? And how AI and ML can be incorporated to actually interact with your network infrastructure and be able to kind of provide you valuable insights with different types of AI we can apply, including predictive AI or generative AI. And this is exactly how what we're going to learn. The course, at some part, at its fundamental level, is going to help you learn about the fundamentals of Python. But once we gain the ability and understanding of how Python works, because Python is going to be the programming language we will be using for all the development we will be doing, right? There can be other programming languages also, but we are choosing Python. And once you learn the fundamentals of Python in the initial 2 or 3 classes, then we will directly be jumping up into the AI and ML content. So I have combined both of these aspects together so that it becomes easy for anyone who is getting started with their journey, right? So the kind of level of the content is gonna be for beginners, right? And I don't expect you to have any knowledge around AI or around automation. And anyone who is coming from the core networking background is pretty should pretty much be comfortable understanding the content and the lab demonstration that we're gonna do in this training. So that's the vision of this particular course. Meanwhile, let's get started with our day one. So let's talk about the content now, which we are going to cover in this particular training. So when I look at the course outline, since I mentioned the very first thing, because working with AI or working with all the automation solutions requires you to be familiar with one of the programming languages. So Python is our chosen programming language. And why so? And what exactly does it look like? Or how exactly does it look like when it gets compared with other programming languages? That is something which we're going to explore in this course. But since Python is one of the main language which we're going to use along with all the libraries, learning it is our primary motive. So we will be talking about the introduction to Python from the scratch. We have a couple of participants who already know about Python. I think this can be a refresher for them. And yeah, so once we get to know about the Python, then we're going to talk about the conditionals and loops in Python. We need to understand how data processing and file handling are done in Python, right? And then we will also learn about the object-oriented programming approach in Python, right? So these are our main concepts which we should be exploring in Python. Once we get to know about that, then we're gonna jump into the following concepts, which is gonna be the overview of AI and ML. I think what I will do is, because you guys should be aware about what really AI and ML is, we're gonna keep that piece on our day one, right? Because we usually keep our day ones very lightweight. So once we get an understanding of what AI and ML is, then we will get started with our Python and other stuff, right? So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to understand the AI and ML in the network automation space. We're going to understand what kind of use cases we will be having. What is the importance of AI and ML in modern networks, right? What are the use cases for traffic prediction, for anomaly detection, for network optimization, how AI and ML can be used for such kind of use cases. That's something which we're going to understand over here, right? Once we understand this, then we're going to also um, jump to the fundamentals of ML. Right? This is where we're going to talk about supervised and unsupervised learning. We're going to talk about some of the algorithms, including linear regression, decision trees, and others. And then once we get to know about them, then we would probably be implementing them for some of the use cases we will be talking. After this, we're going to jump into the implementation of AI for prediction and generation, or rather, I'll say predictive and generative purposes. Right? In back in these days, you must have heard about Gen AI, right? There is a lot of kind of uh, marketing which is happening in a positive sense, I would say, and everyone is talking about Gen AI coming in, Gen AI coming in. So the full form of Gen AI definitely is generative AI. So there are two types of main AIs which we have: predictive AI and generative AI. Predictive AI kind of takes some data as an input, and then based on the trends of that particular data which you share with the models, it can generate, or it can kind of predict that what the future is going to look like. For example, if you give some data of, let's say, your bandwidth utilization of over a month, and then uh, you want to predict that how your bandwidth utilization would really look like for the next week, or for the following week, or for the following month or so. That is something it can help you with, right? This is called predictive AI. All right, so as I was saying, we'll be talking about what exactly are the predictive and generative purposes and how it really works. Then, post that, we're gonna also talk about language models and agents in AI, in artificial intelligence, right? There are lots of language models. We talk about LLMs, we talk about ngrams, we talk about RNNs, we talk about transformers, right? There is the architecture which is followed behind the language models, and we're going to learn about how these really language models work. And we'll also get an understanding towards how to create a language model if you have any of, if you want to create your own language models, right? There are lots of language models and agents which are available, and how you can really create one is something we will talk about, right? So, majorly, because this is what our main motive of this training is going to be about, right? So most of it revolves around the Python fundamental, but whatever you're going to learn about programmability, which includes like the fundamentals of Python, the conditions and loop, the data processing, right, the object oriented, all of this will be utilized to actually build automated solutions in terms of prediction or generation using AI tools and technologies, right? That is what our motive is going to be. Now, in order to achieve, because this is going to be a lab-oriented training, we would be looking forward to do lots of labs in our training. And to be able to do so, you guys will be provided with some hosted lab infrastructure in our data center. Yeah, so I was saying every participant will be provided with a hosted lab, and that lab pod will include one Ubuntu machine, right? So you're gonna have an Ubuntu PC, and then second, you're gonna have a network simulator called EVNG, right? The Ubuntu PC from our data center will be exposed out to the internet, and then you as a user will be sitting over here anywhere in the world can access that Ubuntu. Then from the Ubuntu PC is where we will install all sorts of tools which we require. That includes the IDE, that includes Python, that includes tools and all the packages and libraries you need to get going with the implementation. And then in case that we want to test some sort of implementation, some sort of configuration, some sort of data being pulled from network devices, then that network infrastructure will be simulated on the EVNG, right? So these two VMs together makes one pod for the use case, right? And this is how the labs, this is the infrastructure on which the labs will be performed, right? And yeah, the training hours are from 8:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time on Monday to Thursday. Right? This is what usually the schedule will be. Sometimes it may happen that I am not able to join due to some urgent activity. It does not really happen quite often, but if in case that on one of the week that I'm not available, let's say on Tuesday, then I may plan to have a session on Friday, which is gonna be kind of a compensatory session. So either that'll be compensated on the same week, or your training will be extended by a day or by two as and when it's required. Since this is a very first training for this AI ML course, we keep our doors very open to kind of explore and expand the trainings as and when we need. For example, I may get a feeling in the middle that we are not able to finish the course on time because we are exploring more and more scenarios, we are exploring more and more concepts, right? And then I'm getting lots of more doubts from you guys, so I'm completely open for this first batch, right, to also assess from our end that how operationally or how long operationally this training really takes. We're not gonna be that harsh and that fast on finishing this training because I'm on my exploration phase for this particular training. So let's see how that goes up, and I'm pretty excited for this particular training as well. And we'll get started quickly with our day one. Whenever you have any questions, right, you guys can ask your questions by raising your hand. I would highly recommend you guys to not to unmute yourself in the middle of the discussion or in the middle of me saying something. I would appreciate if you guys would raise your hands and then wait for your turn to ask questions. I keep looking at the screen every time. I have two or three screens where the session is being shared, and I get prompted whenever someone have question when you raise a when you raise your hand. When I'm ready to take your question, I'll quickly ask you that, hey, please go ahead with your question. And this keeps or this maintains the decoration or decorum of the session very well. All the sessions, like Nitish said, will be recorded. The recording will be uploaded to our LMS portal probably in 2 or 3 hours once we get done with the session. And if Microsoft Teams takes more time to render the session recording, then it will get uploaded to the portal in the morning itself, because we would be getting done with the training by about 10, 10:30 or 11 p.m. in the Indian Standard Time. So our team, since it's a manual process, our team might not be available to upload the video right then in the middle of the night. But this will be the first thing that they'll be doing in the morning if that's done so. And it is also possible that while doing the lab activities, which I will be demonstrating in the class, you guys might face some difficulty, right? Because you guys might try to perform the lab activity at your comfort zone. And if you face any difficulty in the lab activity, then you can take a screenshot of the error and share it over the Telegram group or describe it. And then I and the team will be available always. Definitely, there is a TAT, right, turnaround time of around 1 hour or so. If I'm sitting right on the desk, you will get a response from me quickly. But if you don't get a reply, then the team will be there to help you with your queries. So yeah, that's how the overall flow is gonna be. And I see Arun has a question. Please go ahead with your question, Arun.
Sir, if you can just mention few use cases which we will be discussing as part of the each section. But
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, we will be covering all these use cases throughout this training, of course.
yeah, so use cases will be there for every section, is it?
Of course,
Uh,
yes. Of course, yes. Our main motive, however, is for the use cases in the network automation space. Like
yeah,
AI can
correct.
be implemented in various domains, right? Our focus is for the networking domain itself, right? So we'll be covering the use cases which are there for the network automation or networking space. Hope that helps.
Okay. Are we having
Awesome.
any use cases with respect to like anomaly detection
Yes,
in
we'll be
networking?
doing, of course, yes, we'll be doing anomaly detection, we'll be doing traffic prediction, right, etc.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll get started with the very first section itself, right? And let's talk about the fundamentals of AI. What we're going to talk about is um, introducing AI and ML in the network operations. And this is what we're going to talk about. Now, when we look at the current, I would say, way of networks being managed, in the rapidly evolving field of network management, automation, and programming tools, the you can say the programming tools, I mean, are indispensable for their ability to streamline and simplify the complex tasks. When you learn DevNet or when you learn network automation, there are tools like Python, Ansible, Terraform, right? These tools have become essential for configuring network interfaces or managing infrastructure and ensuring that consistent deployments across diverse environments is available. When you look at type of environment or type of infrastructure you deal with, Cisco specifically, Cisco has three major platforms, right? One is the basic iOS. Second one, I categorize it as advanced, which has iOS XE. Then I have iOS XR, and it also has NXOS. Okay. And third one is all the SDN controllers. When you look at the SDN infrastructure, then the SDN infrastructure actually has kind of a PC or an admin machine which actually interacts with the SDN controller, and the controller and maybe is connected to the ISP, and then down below it interacts with the infrastructure, right? So when you talk about SDN controller, there are a few popular types of SDN controller, right? One, you have ACI, right? Second, you have SD-WAN, and third, you have maybe SD access. So in ACI, you kind of manage the data center environment. In SD-WAN, you manage the WAN infrastructure, and with SD access, you kind of manage the enterprise infrastructure, all the campus fabric and all. But each solution do provide you some sort of controller. For example, ACI provides you Epic application policy infrastructure controller. SD-WAN provides you vManager, right? SD Access provides you DNAC or Catalyst Center. So that controller can be hosted here. So you communicate with the controller, and the controller passes, I mean, you provide the intent there, right? You specify the intent to the controller. The controller is capable of converting that intent into device understandable configuration and then deploy that to your infrastructure. So this is like northbound communication and this is like southbound communication, right? What we have been doing is you usually use a GUI, right? Which means you will open kind of your browser and then from that browser you will access the controller. This is manual way of interacting with the controller by using GUI. Then there is a programmatic way of interacting with the controller where you can use a REST API, right? But is this REST API compatible with the other types of platform? No, right? The REST API is compatible only with the STN controllers. The iOS XE, iOS XR, NXOS, all of these, right? These devices usually use model-driven programmability protocols like netconf or restconf. So when you want to implement automation for these platforms, you would be using netconf and restconf. When you want to automate the communication with STN controllers, you will use REST API, right? And when you want to automate things like iOS devices, that's where you use Python libraries like NetMiko, right? Or Napalm, etc. These libraries, these Python libraries, does not require any sort of controller or anything to actually manage the infrastructure programmatically. You just need kind of a tool to like a Python package to actually start managing it. So, and that is exactly what I was saying, that there are tools like Python and Ansible and Terraform, which have become essential for configuring network interfaces or managing the infrastructure and ensuring that there is consistent deployment across diverse environment, like I just mentioned here. These tools excel at the predefined rule-based task, and they are useful for scenarios where network configurations follow clear and well-defined patterns and procedures. For example, we know that irrespective of what the underlying platform is, the process to configure OSPF or the process to configure interfaces, the process to configure access control list is pretty much similar, right? What you need is just a way of programmatically interacting with the network devices and then pushing that required configuration, right? But not all the network challenges can be addressed with these static and hard-coded Python scripts, right? This is where artificial intelligence and machine learning comes into effect. These technologies are kind of very well at recognizing patterns and predicting anomalies, right? And adapting to dynamic network environments. Consider that there is a company which uses traditional firewalls, right? And it requires manual configuration of all the policies. So network administrators must define each rule one by one, right? Which is not only time consuming, but it also prone to human error. So in addition, it's often difficult to think about all the possible scenarios in cybersecurity. So what you realize out of this, you may realize that, I mean, I can also make a point over here that when you do manual configuration or traditional configuration, you realize that one, the static configuration is not the safest configuration or is not the safest way to kind of perform the configuration change. Then sometimes, yeah, as I was saying, that static configuration is not the safest way and the preferred way because there can be human errors, right? Then you want to, you may want to have, or you might want to have a system for anomaly detection. Now, what kind of anomalies can be there and all that? That's we're going to talk about them in the coming sections. But yeah, you might want to have a system for anomaly detection. Then sometimes there is also a need for pattern recognition. So need for pattern recognition can also be there, which could actually be difficult or even impossible to implement using classical programming approaches. Think for a moment that let's say that if there is a trend, if there is a pattern of bandwidth consumption being utilized or being increased uh, by let's say 2% or 3% every 10 minutes, so your systems can actually identify the pattern that whenever there is, I mean, whenever the time reaches at 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. in the afternoon, then the consumption of bandwidth is increasing every time. And then as soon as it is 2:30 p.m., the consumption of bandwidth is coming down to normal. So your AI tools can actually identify that there is something which is happening during this particular time. And then you can actually ask um, the AI engine to actually look and learn that what is happening. So you can give packet captures as input, and then it will tell you that what is kind of packet which is flowing, what is kind of traffic which is flowing. Is it safe traffic that is coming in? Is it normal, or should we really take some, or should we really consider doing some configuration changes, some policy upgradations to actually see what's happening during this particular time? So all of such kind of things can also be considered over here. Then you would also like to automate the troubleshooting, not only for security, but also in general purpose. So you can do something called proactive troubleshooting. Usually in traditional networks, we are doing reactive troubleshooting, which means that when someone wrong or something bad happens in the network, then we take action to actually recover or come out of that particular problem, right? But with proactive troubleshooting, you can actually, or your tools and your systems can actually keep on monitoring how the trends and how the traffic flow actually is doing. And then you can, based on the trends, based on the data, your systems can actually identify if there is something wrong which is going to happen. And then before it happens, network administrators can proactively be notified that this is something which is expected to happen. Please fix this. These are the suggested changes that you can do to your network. And then you can make a decision on how to implement and how to save that. So the contrast, I mean, the contrast to this particular situation with a firewall that incorporates AI and ML capability is that these advanced firewalls significantly reduces the burden of manual configuration, right? To enhance security through intelligent or adaptive mechanisms. And in addition, you can use specialized AI systems also, which is capable of human-like dialogue to address any warning or error message, right? And these systems enables you to upload data and ask questions regarding that particular data, which facilitates troubleshooting efforts. So advanced systems which are incorporated with AI tools will provide you lots of good scenarios. So when you look at what is AI, then you can say that AI is human intelligence simulated by computer systems, right? This is why what AI for us is gonna be. So in this course, you will kind of learn that what is the difference between AI and ML, what types of AI really exist, right? What are neural networks and how do they really work? How the most popular algorithms are used in the generative AI work? Then what is the different types of AI that is available? What is the role of AI and ML in the network operations? All of these things are something which you're gonna learn about. When you, however, look at AI and ML as a definitive purpose, so it, before that, you also need to understand that what are the challenges with the traditional network operations. So the classical programming and scripting have been used, you can say, for a long time to automate and manage various network tasks. Since I've been teaching DevNet also for about 5 to 6 years now, and I've seen various types of use cases. We can use tools like Python, we can use tools like Terraform, we can use tools like Ansible, right? We can use tools like Docker and Kubernetes to actually automate and manage various types of networking tasks. So these traditional methods, now these methods have become traditional now, which were new in the industry as compared to the traditional way of managing networks. So these traditional methods, they excel at handling straightforward rule-based tasks, such as configuring network devices or monitoring performance or managing network policies. For example, a script can be written to automatically update the firmware on a set of routers or to periodically check the status of the network interfaces, right? Such kind of CI/CD pipeline tasks or cron jobs can be deployed there. And many complex tasks are challenging and even impossible to solve with classical programming. These tasks often involve analyzing vast amount of data, right? Or identifying patterns, or predicting future network states, or making real-time decisions in dynamic environments. So one such example is the detection of network anomalies for security threats. Although a script can be programmed to recognize known attack patterns, but it struggles to identify new and evolving threats or subtle anomalies that do not really match the predefined rules. So, to address such challenges, machine learning and artificial intelligence are kind of introduced into the network operations. So, ML and AI can analyze large data sets, right? When I say data sets, I'm talking about historical data. So you can give historical data as knowledge to your computers, and your computers will learn that how your network has been functioning and performing based on that particular data, and it will get to know the nature of your network performance. So ML and AI can analyze all these large data sets to learn what is considered normal network behavior, right? Which is called as baselining. And based on that, it can predict failures, right? And it can suggest optimal configurations. For instance, an AI powered system can continuously monitor the network traffic and identify unusual patterns that are indicative of maybe potential security breach, or even if those patterns are new, right? And AI ML can intricate fields that require extensive specialized knowledge in computer science and data analytics. So solving complex problems requires dedicated teams of experts who integrate those particular advanced tools into various products. So, kind of, well, when you look at then AI and ML, you would say that AI basically is an umbrella term, okay, that can be as simulation, like I said, human intelligence in computer systems. And then machine learning basically is the subset of AI. Okay. And it describes basically mathematical and statistical methods that enables the machines to mimic the intelligent human behavior by learning the data without being programmed. Right? That is what usually. Um, so it's like this is your AI, right? And within that AI, you have like given data, and then there is machine learning happening with that data, right? So AI is a broad term which encompasses various technologies and machines, which is capable of performing tasks that typically require human-like intelligence, such as problem solving, reasoning, discovering meanings, right, and recognizing patterns. Machine learning is basically the subset of AI, which focuses on the development of algorithms and statistical models that can enable computers to learn and make decisions based on the data. So ML is a technique or a method for building AI systems where the machine improves its performance on a task over time by learning from experience without being explicitly being programmed for each specific task. So in network operations, machine learning is used to create AI systems that can monitor, manage, and optimize network performance. For example, machine learning algorithms can analyze vast amount of network traffic data, right, to identify patterns and anomalies, like I said. And by running these algorithms on data collected from past events, the AI system can learn to predict potential issues such as network congestion or failures before they actually occur. So the process of using the data and the machine learning techniques to teach the AI system how to perform a specific task is called as training. Okay, you are going to train your AI systems by using the algorithms, by using the machine learning algorithms. So it can autonomously then adjust the network configurations in real time to prevent or mitigate the potential issues. It's like you do not have to intervene between your network infrastructure to actually make some configuration changes. It's like by the end of this implementation, you're going to have a system which can actually identify if something is about to go wrong in your network infrastructure. And then to save that mishappening, to save that downtime, a configuration change will automatically be implemented by your AI system, right? This is what we will be trying to achieve. Now, to achieve this, there are different types of AI implementation that can actually be done then. But that's kind of a basic understanding of what AI is. Make sense? So, for our first day, I would introduce about myself, my experience, what I've been doing so far, and what are the plans going forward with the AI and ML. So you guys get to know exactly what that, who's actually going to be your instructor. Now, I've been delivering corporate trainings and consultancy since around 12 to 13 years. And my key experience has been in the domain of routing and switching in the early days of my career. Later, when Cisco started coming up with SDN solutions, which included Epic EM and Epic DC, which later then got rebranded to ACI and SD Access. And then SD-WAN was also added to the stack. I got my key interest shifted there in the SDN solution. That's where I got familiar with network automation. That's where I got familiar with network programmability. And then I started learning about these technologies and also started delivering trainings around them after I got valuable insights and learned in that domain. And since then, it has been kind of a roller coaster ride for me because it's been about now 5 years or 6 years I've been teaching and delivering trainings and consultancy around the automation space. And then there have been a lot of technologies and a lot of tools which have been introduced during my journey. I was able to cope up with them and embrace them in my current set of knowledge, and then also cultivate them to be used in the domain of network automation. And AI and ML is one of that technology which I have embraced so far. And this is exactly what every one of you definitely is also trying to do, to stay in the or to stay updated in the industry. You definitely need to upskill your current knowledge and then be comfortable to utilize and learn newer technologies which are coming in. So currently, the, I mean, I've been dealing with these network automation space for more than 6 years now, relevantly. And if I talk about some of my credentials, then I am currently CCI DevNet or DevNet expert, and I'm also Cisco's official or authorized instructor to deliver all of their trainings, which they directly deliver to their customers. So I'm kind of authorized to deliver trainings on behalf of Cisco since I'm a CCSI instructor, right? And I hold a lot of other certifications as well, but the latest and the greatest is the DevNet expert or the CCI in DevNet, which kind of enables me to deliver and hold knowledge in terms of or in the domain of network automation and AI. also falls under the same domain where DevNet is exactly living up. That's about my professional technical experience. And also, I am one of the co-founder and CTO at PyNet Labs. We started this particular company along with my co-founder, Dipanshu, with a vision to be able to deliver top-notch services in the domain of, you can say, automation, in the domain of network automation. Then this is where DevNet comes in. This is where AI comes in. This is where solutions like SD-WAN, ACI, and others comes into picture. Right? That's our vision, to be able to cater this niche area of automation in the domain of networking. And yeah, personally, I belong from a state of Maharashtra in India, but I've been living in Delhi for about 10 years now. So this is my base location. And I welcome you all again to this amazing training. You guys are one of the first participants who have joined this training, who have joined the very first batch of this title. When we started other trainings, I guess back in 2018 or 19, when automation was newly being introduced, I was the one who delivered or who kind of developed a course called Python for Network Engineers. And this Python for Network Engineer got pretty famous. So far in PyNet only, we have delivered like about, I would say, what, 60 or so trainings to our participants, which covers more than like 1,000 participants. Um, More than 1,000 participants just for this training. And then in the corporate trainings also, we have delivered lots of trainings for Python for network engineers. So like that got pretty famous. That course got pretty famous, and it got attention from a lot of core network engineers. Similarly, and to increase the interactability of this particular session, I would also like you guys to introduce about yourself, and I would like to know about, I mean, you can introduce about yourself with starting with your name, with your location you're joining in from, right? Then the organization that you work for, the role that you are in at, right? And do you ever have or have you ever studied DevNet? And then the motive to join this particular training. Knowing if you have studied DevNet will help me understand if you carry any programmability background or so, so that I get to know that how much of a scratch or how much of basics we should actually explore. And if everyone is comfortable with programmability or Python or so, then this will kind of give us a head start, right? So this is exactly what I want to know about you guys. And then it will also help me understand your expectations out of this training and will help me to fulfill them in a better way possible. So I would start with Arun Kumar. You can unmute yourself, you can introduce about yourself, and then I'll move on to the next one. Yeah. Please go ahead, Arun.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening, all. Myself Arun
Mm-hmm,
Kumar. I'm based in Dubai. I work as
mm-hmm.
a network manager for an organization called Altair
Okay.
Group in Dubai.
Okay.
I was one of your students in your first DevNet course.
Oh, okay.
RTC
Welcome
DevNet.
back then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And see, the expectation for me from this course is to understand the fundamentals of AML, and
Yep.
also to identify some real world use
Mm-hmm,
cases. We,
mm-hmm,
from a network perspective, what are the real
mm-hmm,
use cases? How we can achieve those?
mm-hmm.
That's my expectation out of this course.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And did
Yeah.
you achieve any DevNet certification after you
Uh,
learned the DevNet?
no, I have
Okay.
not
So you
completed
used,
that. Yeah,
but did you find that course
yeah,
useful?
that
When
yes,
you
that was really useful. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Arun, for joining back. Next, we have Avinash with us. Avinash, please introduce about yourself.
Yeah, hi. My name is Avinash Chintamani. I am based out of Pune. I work for Barclays, and
Barclays. Okay.
yeah, I'm currently working on uh, ACI automation, some basic
Okay.
stuff, Ansible. I,
Mm-hmm.
even though I have not done your, I mean, live training,
DevNet
I
training.
did opt
Okay.
for the self-paced one. but
Oh, okay.
I was never able to complete it. I should be able to complete it hopefully this year.
Mhm.
The reason why I'm doing this course is to have an edge, and since everyone is talking about AI, right? So,
Yeah,
uh, so I was thinking of ways to learn how we can leverage uh, AI in our environment or day-to-day work.
yeah, yeah. Makes sense. And you so far don't carry any DevNet certification, correct?
No, no.
All right. And any experience with Python? I mean, you said that you are achieving AI automation, but you're using Ansible over there. But
Yeah,
are you
I do have
comfortable with
some
Python programmability?
basic Python, I would say, but when it comes
Okay.
to function, I face some challenges. But
Okay.
other than
Makes
that, I'm
sense.
good with other things like lists and dictionaries. I'm comfortable with a
Okay.
few of things, but functions and other things
But a
is a bit.
refresher would be good for you, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank
All
you.
right. Makes sense, Avinash. Thank you so much. Then we have Gangadhar with us. Gangadhar, please introduce about yourself.
Hey, my name is Gangadhar, and I'm from Bangalore, working in
Mm-hmm.
HP as a principal engineer. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, I have taken the DevNet classes from you guys, and
Okay.
it really gave a lot of changes in my day-to-day work. As you said,
Amazing.
I have learned the framework, how
Mm-hmm.
the automation is working from your classes, and I use
Mm-hmm.
those labs, and I put
Mm-hmm.
those ideology in my day-to-day work, right?
Mm-hmm.
To
Mm-hmm.
reduce the time I'm spending on my regular work actually, right? And it
Yeah.
gave very good result in my job. Okay, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of career position, in terms of
That's great to hear.
compensation, everything. It gave a lot of changes, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think you are my teacher on my last DevNet class also. Okay,
Oh, okay.
and
That's great.
right, yeah, I have see. I still remember I have taken it some 2 years back with the doubt of how this class is going to be. Okay, but the
Uh-huh.
way you guys given that documents, how to
Mm-hmm.
it gave the confidence for us to work on the automation actually,
Of
right?
course, yeah.
And
That's the
basing
vision.
that, yeah, I'm basing that like using that framework and the ideology you guys gave. I was able to explore a lot of thing in the automation, right? Even though I'm not code automation expert, but whenever it's needed, I'm using that in my organization for in my current profile. The same thing I'm expecting on the AIML course also, right? Whatever I was using with the automation, I would like to see how I can put the AIML framework on that to get more result on my current job
Mm-hmm.
actually.
Amazing. That's so nice to hear, Gangadharan. And welcome
Thanks.
back again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Nazik Ali with us. Nazik, please introduce about yourself.
Hey guys, so my name is Nazik. So currently I'm located in Toronto, Canada. So I'm working for
Okay.
Rogers as an infrastructure specialist.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's like routing and switching, mainly we do. So my motive is to get some knowledge with AI and ML and implement it on my day-to-day,
Mm-hmm.
day-to-day life. So thought of learning this. So this was been a good opportunity for me to come in.
All right. Do you carry any DevNet experience with you?
Uh, See, normally like I have implemented like the Python scripts and YAML scripts, so but
Okay.
never like prepared or created one. So
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
there are lots and lots of scripts which are available, and you
yeah.
got one and customized it and then implemented it, right?
Uh, Not really customized, like just implemented those like edited and that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
with
okay,
available. Yeah,
that makes sense. It's like you are able to read the Python script, but you haven't developed one by
I have never
yourself to
developed.
actually
Yeah,
automate a
yeah,
feature. Makes sense.
yes.
All right. Thank you. And next we have Saurabh. Lastly, we have Saurabh Singh with us. Saurabh, please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, this is Saurabh. Currently, I'm working as a network engineer in Fidelity National Information Services (FIS). That
Mm-hmm.
is a US-based product-based MNC, and
Mm-hmm.
mm, I my motive is to learn the AI and ML. As we all know that there's all mm, talking about the AI and AI loan, AI known person will feed the job your, and that's why me and my colleague, my friend Bhushan, I also want to learn that
Hmm.
technology. And I just want to say that I have never worked on the Python. I'm not
Okay.
much familiar with the Python and other kind of scripting technology.
Okay. Makes sense. So you're completely new to the automation world, right?
Yeah, yeah, right, Abhijit.
Awesome. And yeah, welcome to this training then. I kind of can guarantee that you'd be able to equip yourself with programmability skills by the end of this particular training.
Okay, thanks,
Awesome.
Abhijit.
And I guess with that, we pretty much complete all the introductions. I believe there are 3 to 4 more participants who haven't joined us on our day one by now. So, but expecting them to be joining us anytime. And awesome. I hope that
Yeah,
answers.
thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.